Hey, how's it going? How has your week been? I know that for me, right, with everything going on, it's been a good week. It's been a fun week. It is supposedly right the beginning of autumn, unofficially, yet it feels as if though we're in the middle of summer. It is still a sweltering 90 plus degrees outside here in eastern Pennsylvania, despite all of the thunderstorms that passed through this area last night. Yeah, that's kind of a spooky thing, right? When you feel that electromagnetic energy in the air and it just kind of like triggers all these thoughts and all this extra energy late at night to begin doing additional research as it relates to Stronghold digital mining. And that's what I did. So if you happen to have caught that video that I posted after 10 o'clock last night, I hope you found it somewhat interesting and useful. I know I'm personally going to be referring back to that video as I continue doing additional research as it relates to carbon capture, carbon sequestration, and potentially how, Stronghold digital mining, right? Because there's stuff going on already. It's just a matter of figuring out what's going on, right? But it seems as if though the opportunity is like genuinely tremendous. Tens upon tens of millions of dollars of potential revenue to be found by kind of putting those puzzle pieces together the right way. This morning, press release came out, news release indicating that Stronghold Digital Mining is going to be attending the H.C. Wainwright, their 25th annual annual global investor conference, basically. By the way, today's Friday, September 8th, 2023. This, of course, is the Stronghold Digital Mining Daily Update. You and I see each other so often, sometimes it's easy to overlook the fact that, hey, sometimes there may be somebody new, right? So, hey, if you happen to be new, welcome. This is a channel that seems to be practically just laser focused on one topic, which is Stronghold Digital Mining, this phenomenal company that has its operations largely here in the state of Pennsylvania, where I happen to be in, and they're doing some amazing environmental remediation work, which I think is really, really, really important. But I think of more interest to the rest of us, right? I'm really focused on the environmental part of this. It's a big deal to me. But I recognize, right, for everyone else, hey, it's this is a Bitcoin mining company, right? You and I are likely to be long-term bullish on Bitcoin. And so one way to express that long-term bullishness, right, that enthusiasm for Bitcoin, is to invest in a Bitcoin mining company. It's an extreme levered play on Bitcoin. Right? A lot of boom and bust cycles in the Bitcoin mining industry. And we've certainly, meaning Stronghold Digital Mining, has had its fair share of ups and downs. But here we are, looking forward to next Tuesday, September 12th. So Stronghold's chairman and chief executive officer, Mr. Greg Beard, hi Greg if you're watching, and chief financial officer Matt Smith, hello Matt if you're watching, will present on September 12th, 2023 at 4 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern Time, and hold one-on-one meetings with institutional investors at the conference throughout the day. I noticed that there have been past H.C. Wainwright conference participants who have captured, they've sort of captured their presentation that they made at the conference, and then they've posted it to their YouTube channels. I don't know what the technical feasibility of that might be for Stronghold Digital Mining, but at the very least, I do know, because this occurred last year as well, there will more than likely be an 8K filed with the SEC, which will include the investor slide deck. So anything that's being presented at the conference will ultimately make its way into an 8K. And so then you and I will have an opportunity to, take a look at the slide deck and kind of try to figure out what some of the topics are that are being discussed. We're probably hunting for some capital, and that's okay. I'm trying to sleuth out, is this in furtherance of our third site, right, where we would hope to locate this roughly 25 megawatt worth of end-to-end data center equipment. Is that one component? Is carbon capture potentially another component? My intuition tells me that the immediate focus is on finding a home for this, roughly 1 exahash, 25 megawatts of end-to-end, data center equipment that Stronghold has. We need to find a place for it. And then we need to obviously start filling it up with Bitcoin mining machines. And there is going to be some element of CapEx associated with that. Not some staggering amount per se, but, nonetheless, an amount of CapEx. So it makes sense that might perhaps be a central focus of the presentation next Tuesday. Also, it could potentially also delve into the whole carbon capture part of this equation. So I'm going to be really curious to see what we find out. If you happen to be an institutional investor, and you never know, right? I look at the view counts on some of the videos I've published, and you always wonder who's kind of watching, right? And so, hey, if you're an institution and you're like, I've kind of been looking at this company and I'd love to learn more and maybe get the opportunity to meet with management, have productive one-on-one, frank, right, dialogue with management about different things, and potentially, right, assess whether or not this might be a suitable investment. Why not meet with Greg and or Matt in New York City this coming Tuesday, September 12th at 4 o'clock. Watch the presentation. Hey, if you're there for the whole day, great. As the news release mentions, there are going to be opportunities for one-on-one discussions. So why not take advantage of that? I'll tell you, this is a phenomenal company. It really is. And there's just so many different ways that we have to win, which make us very differentiated from, a more typical Bitcoin mining operation, which might just involve, hey, here I am, I'm getting these Bitcoin mining machines, I'm going to plug them in and hope for the best, right? We do have many more avenues to generate revenue, some of which are quite staggering as I started to really kind of understand last night. This whole carbon capture, $85 per ton of carbon emitted, all that's in the Inflation Reduction Act. This is going to be, I think, something that not just Stronghold Digital Mining, but other companies that are in the space where, hey, we have facilities that emit carbon. Hey, wouldn't it be great if we could sequester or capture that carbon and really even do better by the environment, while at the same time doing well by our shareholders and right for ourselves? Because we'll be generating some really useful revenue in the process. So that's going to be really the extent of this update. It's, as I said, it's sweltering. It's very warm. You'd think here we are at the beginning of September that temperatures would have moderated. It's well over 90 degrees here in Eastern Pennsylvania. So hopefully by next week, and I think I did see by next week, things will start getting a little bit more autumn-like, which I'm looking forward to. But hey, Stronghold Digital Mining is probably shopping for some capital. It looks like we're going to have an investor slide deck, which will probably come out via an 8K. I do think there is something to be said, just tossing it out there. Hey, if there's an opportunity to somehow record or capture that presentation, if it's suitable to do so, and then just share it right on the primary, Stronghold Digital Mining YouTube channel. Again, people, it's funny, right? Social media, sometimes we think of it as like dance videos and people doing pranks, but practically all of humanity is on social media. So it's kind of like what you make of it. And so for those who might be hunting for places to allocate capital, it may not hurt to necessarily broaden the audience beyond just the presentation itself and those that might be in attendance, be it in person or virtual, but to others who might sort of see that online and pick up the phone and be like, hey, I want to invest in this company, right? Or I've got some thoughts on how we can collaborate, that sort of thing. You never know. So just tossing it out there. So yeah, I'll link to that news release in the description of this video. In the meantime, Stronghold Digital Mining, right, the company, the stock, I've kind of been watching it off and on all day. We're kind of holding steady. There's a chance I may get together with a fellow Stronghold Digital Mining shareholder later today. I'm hoping I can show my face without, having the stock be completely under $4 a share or anything weird like that. It's one of those things, right? When I do interact with shareholders in person, inevitably I need to kind of talk a little bit about what's going on with the stock price and, what my thoughts are. I understand. Look, it can be, as I alluded to a couple of broadcasts ago, hey, we're in for a bumpy ride. And it's understandable and perfectly reasonable and okay to be a little bit jittery. So we're going to get through this one day at a time, 1 week at a time, 1 month at a time, 1 year at a time. Okay, my friend, let's be positive, let's be great, and we will see each other again next week.